How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be addressing 5 mods that you should do when you buy an S550 Mustang GT. To start off, let's talk about my car a little bit. I have a 2019, which would be the 3rd generation Coyote. It is a Mustang GT Premium, meaning I have the leather seats and everything like that. In 2018, the Mustang got a little bit of the facelift with the upgraded lights, the bumper, a couple other cosmetic things. The lights are different, and this comes with quad tips on the GT no matter what. The mods that we will be talking about in this video will work for all the S550 Mustangs or even older generation Mustangs for the most part. So the first thing I recommend you do, and the first thing I did on my car, is a catback or axleback exhaust. If you're looking for a little bit more aggressive, more louder, go with the catback. If you're looking to just change the tone a little bit with a little bit more noise, go axleback. I haven't had a problem with my catback exhaust. Even though it's loud, it doesn't drone. I have a Roush catback and I think it sounds amazing, and it just awakens the car. I'll show you guys a video of my car when it was stock and had the stock exhaust, and then I'll give you the sound of the Roush catback exhaust because it completely awakens the car. As you guys heard in those clips, before it was very muffled and very muted. It still sounded okay, but with the exhaust, the car sounds so much better. And it is definitely a mod that you should do if you're gonna buy a Mustang, a S197, any 5.0 Mustang with an exhaust sounds amazing, especially if it's a Coyote. So coming to the second and third thing, we can pop the hood. So what I have to say for the second thing is going to be getting yourself some hood struts. They're about $70. These are Ford Performance ones. They're very simple to install. You do have to do a little modification to this battery cover and cut a hole. Not really a big deal, and even someone who doesn't really know what they're doing can do this very easily. The only Mustang that's ever come with hood struts is the GT500, and I just don't see why they don't give it to us. It's a $70 thing, especially in the GT Premium. I feel like it should come from factory. The Camaros get hood struts, and if you are going to mod your engine bay or you're doing oil changes or anything like that, hood struts just get rid of the prop rod. Sure, they might not be as reliable as the prop rod because they do fail after a little bit, but that's years and years of owning a car. My BMW that's currently sitting in the back is 20 years old and it still has the original hood struts in it, which are looking to be replaced in the next 5 years or so. But if you can get 15 to 20 years out of your hood struts, I think that's more than enough to justify spending $70 on them. So the next mod that I highly recommend you do is an oil catch can. The oil catch can you can barely notice, and it's just tucked right into here. I got the JLT one because the JLT one hooks up right to the car. You just remove a pipe and install a JLT catch can. It takes less than 5 minutes. What this does is basically catch all the oil and contaminant you don't want flooding back into your intake manifold and just clogging up everything in your engine, especially if you're going to drive your car a lot and keep it for a long time. For longevity, the oil catch can is very beneficial. I installed the oil catch can on Friday, and I drove 800 miles throughout the weekend and came back on Sunday, so I'll show you how much oil it caught in that amount of time. So in only about 850 miles, look at how much oil, if you guys can see all that oil that's sitting in there. Let me get a better lighting maybe. Perhaps there's just a little puddle sitting at the bottom right there, and that's just completely filled with oil. A whole good layer of oil. So the next thing would be wheels and tires. If you don't have a performance pack Mustang, you get all season tires just like my car does right now. I have aftermarket wheels, completely changed the look of the car. The fitment in the front is so much better. I don't have tires yet because I'm gonna still ride these out. I live in Wisconsin. I didn't see the point in changing them just yet, but if you're going to do some high performance driving, recommend you change the whole setup. If you just want to change the look, get some new wheels, get some better fitment, more flush with the fender, and just looks a lot better in my opinion. Definitely something you should consider. If you do get decent wheels with your car, it's okay, but I mean, you can always upgrade to something that looks a little bit better. Aftermarket options just look amazing. I have RTR Tech 7 wheels, and they just match the Mustang just very nicely. If we come over to the Mustang, we can see these wheels. They look okay. In person, they look like pretty good. They're 19 inches. The new ones are 19 and a half. These don't look half bad in person. When I put a camera on it, these look like base model wheels. An honorable mention that I have to do before going into number 5 is getting some black emblems. If your car is all blacked out, the black stands out a little bit. I think they look fine on my car because I have chrome badges, the chrome right there. And if we come over to the rear, again, on my car, I have chrome exhaust tips, but I think if you do want to delete them, it does look pretty good. As far as my car goes, I'm not going to do it because it doesn't fit, but just an honorable mention before we get to number 5. Now the 5th one is a little bit different, so I'll tell you what I mean by that. Now, it's a very small modification depending on which way you take it, but I recommend you getting some vinyl on the Mustang. Vinyl doesn't mean getting stripes like I do and a livery like I do. Vinyl could just mean you get paint protection film on the front end or the full car. I recommend you get some type of paint protection film because I don't have it, and there are some chips along here that kind of suck, but they're small things that could get fixed. But in the long run, if you're going to be driving the car a lot, getting a paint protection film on the front of your car where all the rocks and everything is being kicked up at you, or if you're going to be on a track, highly recommend getting paint protection film. With number 5 would be doing the stripes. You don't have to do them, but it is a vinyl thing that changes the car overall. And this car gets a lot more attention than it did with this livery on it than it did when it was just plain blue. Another thing I recommend you do is tints. I know in a lot of states it's not legal to go this dark. In Wisconsin, it's not legal to go this dark. I have 25 on everything other than the windshield, but it just makes sitting in the car a lot better. And for most states, you can get away with having a dark tint, as long as it's not like a 5% or something. In Wisconsin, it's 25%. You can get away with it pretty easy. You can probably get away with darker. I don't really get pulled over in my county all that much. If I was to get pulled over after this because someone watched my video, it'd kind of suck. But this is sitting on the inside of the car on a kind of cloudy day. You can see right out on camera. It's a lot darker. In person, you can see a lot better. That's the difference. The sun doesn't get in your way. People can't see into your car, which is always great, and definitely something that also looks a lot better from the outside. I think the car looks better blacked out. And I definitely think if you own a Mustang, you should get tints on the car. But those are all the mods I highly recommend you do on the Mustang. To go over them one more time, oil catch can is something for the longevity of the car. Highly recommend it, whether you're going for high power in the car or just driving the car. Getting some type of wheel and tire package, whether it's just wheels to make the car look a little bit better, or if it's wheels and tires because you're going to be driving the car a little bit more aggressively and you don't want those all seasons on there. Getting hood struts because it's simply easier to work on the engine bay or just to lift the hood. It's not as annoying as the prop rods are. It's a very cheap, small little modification that makes the car look a little bit better. Getting some type of vinyl, whether it's a PPF, a stripe, some tints, or anything along those lines. The car, just making it your own style is always a little cool, and to change things up and not have your car look like every other car. Or if it's getting something like tints just to ride in the car a little bit more comfortably, any of those things is definitely a mod you should be doing on the Mustang because it looks good with stripes, it looks good without the stripes. Tints help, and then obviously paint protection film. It will help keep your beautiful Mustang looking fresh. I wish I did it. It's a little expensive, but maybe down the line we'll get it all fixed up and put some paint protection film on it. And then of course my favorite modification is the exhaust. Make the car nice, loud, sound good. Whether you want a very, very loud, just a loud in general, which is what a catback would be, or just change the tone up to be slightly louder than stock. It's a very highly recommended mod, not just by me, but a lot of other people. It's the first mod I did, and if I bought another Mustang anytime soon, it would be the first mod I do again. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel to get more Mustang content, more content on my other cars, and I will see you guys in the next video.